Welcome everybody back to another episode of today's Combat with CCL Townsend. I'm CCL Townsend, host of the show, as you know. And you guys, we had a huge UFC card happen last night. I'm recording this the morning before. It was a long night last night. Couldn't really get it recorded, but so huge card. It was UFC 300, the biggest card of the year for the UFC, and in my opinion, I didn't think they were gonna out deliver because UFC 299 was just that good of a card. I didn't think that UFC 300 was gonna live up to expectations of that, but I was proved wrong. Probably the best fight card of the year so far, from knockouts to moments to just fight quality, everything together all culminated, and it just made it such a good card. But I'm not reviewing it alone. I have a new guest this time. It is Tristan Miranda right here.
Sure, I'm glad to be here, especially to talk about UFC 300. I think it was a phenomenal card. There's a lot of action, and I think it's the best of the year.
Best card of the year for sure. So first I want to start off with my predictions going into it. Actually, once the card was over, I think my predictions were at, I think it was 6-1. I got 6 right, and then I got 1 wrong.
Because you had Gaethje.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I was 6-2. I was 6-2 because I got it wrong on Arman and Oliveira, and then I also had Gaethje beating Holloway, and then we know what happens with that, and that was just crazy. But yeah, so. Yeah, what were your predictions going into it?
I had the same predictions as you. You know, I was really rooting for Oliveira. You know, real sad about that one. He didn't finish off the doors. If he tried hooking in the legs, I think he could have finished that. But I think we'll talk about that later. And then I just was not expecting Holloway to pull through like that. Like I thought the weight cut, or not the weight cut, the jump in weight would like massively affect him because he's kind of really skinny, especially for featherweight, right?
He was skinny for featherweight. So imagine going up like a whole weight class to fight one of the best fighters in the world right now, Justin Gaethje, and then you do that to him. It's just crazy. But let's talk about the prelims. See that real quick. Yeah. So we had Youssef versus Diego Lopez, and I had Lopez getting the win on that one. It was a good fight to start off the prelims. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, it was a good fight. I think I got there a little bit late, but
yeah, like I only was able to watch the final round because someone's got to make money. I got to go work and shit. Yeah. So the minute I get back from work, I turned it on, and it was the final round. Youssef got the win.
It was round 1 knockout.
Yeah, huh?
Round 1 knockout.
I know. That's what I'm talking about. Like when it got into when it got into like final round 1, somewhere around there, I saw the knockout from Lopez right when I turned on the TV. There was like 30 seconds left. See, that's where I got confused. Because when I turned it on, I was like, oh shit, I missed hella of the fight already, and fucking knocked them out. But first round, that's crazy. I just now found out about that. I'm not gonna lie.
There was a lot of
I knew there was a
knockouts and submissions to this card. I feel like, especially during prelims, they're like padding for time because I don't think they were expecting so many early. Yeah,
like when I was watching the stream, they kept putting on like it was like this little montage thing of all like past UFC fights, and it was showed in the little bottom corner like the timer that was coming up for 300, and I was like, damn, dude, all these fucking prelim fights are ending in knockouts, so now they got to make up time before the main card actually starts. But yeah, so Lopez got the win. I was 1-0 on that one. The second prelim, this is the one I was super excited for. Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holmes, and Kayla Harrison, Olympic gold medalist. She fucking built like a man, built like a fucking bodybuilder. Yeah. So going into it, I knew 100% she was gonna body Holly Holmes, and I was right. She fucking bodied her. The only thing that Holly Holmes really got on Harrison was that one. I think it was a single or double leg.
She got a reversal.
What was that?
She got a reversal. So I think Harrison, she did a head and arm throw, and then Holm reversed it.
Yeah, that's right. They were like pushing her up against the cage, kind of. Yeah, yeah. It was pushing her up against the cage, and it was able to reverse it and get Harrison on the ground for a little bit. But it didn't really matter. Yeah. It didn't really matter because when Harrison got up, She was just fucking bodied. And then got her in that fucking submission, tapped her out. Dude, I said this yesterday and I'm saying it now. Harrison will be a champ by the end of the year. She's going to fight Raquel Pennington. She's going to take the title off Raquel Pennington. I think it's a little bit of a stretch to me. And this is just coming from me too. A little bit of a stretch from me, but I think that she dominates Raquel Pennington too. Like, look at you gotta look at her, dude. Like, Kayla Harrison is just fucking. She's built like a men's UFC fighter. That like she was built for this. She was built for the UFC. I don't think there was any other sport that she was built for. Like, what is your take on that?
I completely agree. Complete domination over Holly, who is like kind of a legend in the sport, right? She fought Ronda
Kind
Rousey,
of.
right?
She's the one who drew Ronda Rousey out of the UFC.
Yeah,
and then that happened.
I think she was the first one to win over her for the title. I think. Right?
Yep, and beat her for the title, and then sent her on her little way to go fucking cry and shit.
Go to the WWE, whatnot, but. You know, it was just phenomenal. Her performance, absolutely dominant, and you know
she sticks to this route. Kayla Harrison could be a known name in women's UFC for sure.
I think it's gonna happen.
Because the main three women that you think of in the UFC when you think of like legendary women's UFC fighters, you could debate. You could say Ronda Rousey for sure, Amanda Nunes, and then arguably Holly Holmes, arguably. But think about that with Kayla Harrison just taking out Holly Holmes, and then I saw a video of Amanda Nunes was kind of like, she wasn't calling out Kayla Harrison, but she was like basically saying like, hey, just remember I'm here.
She was saying if she got a belt that she wanted to go after her, I think.
And if she comes back, that's a fight that I need to see. I know Nunes is retired, but if Nunes were to come back, Nunes and Harrison is a fight that I would want to see for sure. And the next prelim fight, I'm pretty sure we had, it was Sterling's. Worst fight on the card.
It was.
By far.
Yeah.
Sterling just had him was literally just holding him to the ground the whole fight. It's like they were afraid to keep it stand up. When it was stand up, I mean, sure, Sterling was getting some decent shots in there, but overall, Sterling going up from bantamweight to featherweight and dominating like that, but just now I wouldn't even want to give it dominating because I was expecting so much more from Sterling in the fight, and then all he does is just I don't even want to say grapple, because grapple is where it's a two-man effort and they're trying to just like out wrestle each other. This wasn't even a grapple. He was just holding him down to the mat for the duration of the fight. So I don't even like. I mean, yeah, I got my prediction right. I thought Sterling was going to win, and technically he dominated. But at the same time, I mean, that's not what the fans wanted. Because if you're going to win like that, that's not a fight that gets you a title shot. That's a fight that gets you back on another prelim, or a fight that gets you on maybe even a prelim of a fight night, not even on a main card. Because Sterling should have known going into it that he has to, from going up from bantamweight to featherweight, that he has to look extremely good if he wants to get a title shot, and if he wants to look a lot better than what he did in his previous weight class. Because we saw what he did with Sean O'Malley. He got fucking bodied in the first round. So you got to think what's going to happen next for Sterling. But at the same time, he better not pull that shit again, because I was damn near about to fall asleep watching that fight.
You know, I think that's the reason why Sterling's title reign was like widely despised. Like, people just were not interested in seeing him fight. You know, because he just has the most boring style in the UFC currently. Right.
Yeah, because when you hold a belt, you're expected to fight like you're trying to keep the fucking belt, and you want to do it in a dominating fashion so the fans start to like you. But the thing about Sterling is, I don't think he really cares what the fans think. He just wants to win.
Yeah.
But the way he wins is that he'll fucking just hold him to the floor, hold him to the mat, and
just
not
get control time.
Exactly, just gain control time and not even let him do anything. It's just, I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't be a really good style of fighting. But the next prelim, I'm pretty sure it was.
Jury.
It was yep. The final prelim fight was Rakic versus Jiri Prochazka. Dude, my fucking I don't know what the word is. I'm trying to think. When I was watching this fight, it was so like back and forth kind of a little bit, and then Rockage just started fucking dominating Jiri, and then Jiri just fucking gained some fucking, I don't know what it was, invincibility out of nowhere, and just started beating the shit out of him. 100%. And that was probably, if Holloway and Gaethje, which we'll talk about later, if that didn't happen, that was probably going to be the fight of the night for me between Jiri and Rockage. Because, I mean, they're both coming off of injuries. Rockage, I believe, was gone for 2 years. So when you take two fighters like that, you're not really going to expect anything good from it, because you're taking two previously injured fighters and then you're putting them together. Mm-hmm. And it's light heavyweight. They're going to hit hard. And, you know, Jiri getting the win, it's what I predicted, but it was so more surprising to me, even though I predicted him, is because he was getting dominated for the whole fight, and then he just comes back and he just gets fucking, I don't know, it was just a great win for Jiri and a great fight overall. What's your
well, I say that Jiri was losing the first half, like the majority of round one. Yeah. But I saw near the end, he was really picking up steam, and he carried that over to round two, and I think he was able to secure the victory because of it. That's what I'll say about Jiri. I will say I think this should have been on main instead of Bo Nickal.
Oh yeah.
But
you see, what I was saying is that I honestly thought that Sterling or Jiri should have been on the main card over Bo Nickal, because for one,
former champions.
Bo Nickal is fucking, I don't know what it is. Me and him were just talking about it earlier. I don't know what it is about Bo Nickal. I don't like Bo Nickal. I despise Bo Nickal. I don't know why. He hasn't done nothing to me. He hasn't said nothing that pisses me off. I just don't like Bo Nickal. The way he acts, like the way he talks, like, do you notice that too? Yeah, like the way he talks. 100%. It's like he's trying to be super nice. Like last night when we're about to talk about this fight anyway, so let's just get into it right now. It was
and Cody
Brundage and Bo Nickal, and I wanted Cody Brundage to win, but ultimately I knew Bo Nickal was gonna get the win. Bo Nickal got the win over Cody Brundage, and his post-fight interview, he was talking about how, like, keep the booze coming. You guys are gonna love me. All this shit. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. No one's gonna love you when you're begging for it like that.
Yeah.
Like the most over UFC fighters are the ones that aren't trying to, overdo themselves and, like, be cocky and all this shit. It just comes naturally because they're good fighters and they have good personality. But when you act like Bo Nickal, no. No, that's not how you get fans. That's not how you get a fan base surrounded around you, by saying, "Oh, stop booing, y'all are gonna love me." Because now you're playing a heel character in the UFC, and no one's gonna fuck with you. Even if you're a decent fighter like you are, when you're... Another thing I don't like about Bo Nickal, this just made me remember something, is that I saw a video of him and Jake Paul training, and Jake Paul was teaching him punches. That's what got me mad. That's what I just remembered. I think that's the main reason why I don't like him. Because how are you going to be a UFC fighter? You already made it to the top of the game in MMA. And then you're going to go get fucking boxing lessons from Jake Paul. You can go to fucking any boxer now because you're in the UFC. You're credible. You can go to any boxer and you go to Jake Paul. That's what I find fucking crazy. Because that just shows that you're not really about it and you have to go to him for fucking boxing. Striking, boxing. Yeah. Whatever, it's just crazy to me.
No, I think my issue from Bo Nickal mainly comes, like, I understand that he's probably the greatest wrestler in the UFC. Because, like, he's, like, I think 4-time champion in, I think it's freestyle. Or, it's either free or full. But I think it's free.
It is freestyle.
Yeah, because in college you do free. And then I think high school is folk. And I understand, like, he's probably one of the best, or if not the best wrestler. But they just brought him into the UFC way too early in his career. Like, he only had, I think, 4 fights when he got
He's 6-0 now.
Yeah, well, now he's 6-0. But he had 2 in the UFC, I think, right? Mm-hmm. And I think both were in main card.
Yeah.
Because I know that the UFC saw him, and they're like, we need to get him before, like, Bellator 1 or, PFL. One of them gets him. But they're just, like, trying to push him as a star so hard. And I think that's just what upsets me. Like, I don't feel like he has
not
star
there
power.
Yet.
He's not there yet. He has not put in the time or effort to being a MMA star. like sure he's put effort into being a wrestling star, right? Almost every wrestler knows him because you know how great he is in wrestling, but he has not put the same effort into MMA.
Nope.
And I think that's just my issue with Bo Nickel, and they just keep on promoting him like he's gonna be the next big thing. He might be, but I don't think he should be promoted that way.
Like on the road he is now, like talking about like him being the next big thing, like he could be, but he's over here in post-fight interviews saying that dumb shit. Like that's not gonna get you respect from nobody, not even UFC fighters, not even the fans. No one's gonna take you seriously. But yeah, Bo Nickel got the win. And then
Oliveira.
My heart is broken with this one, dude.
Yep.
Arman versus Charles Oliveira. Dude, Bronx, man, what happened? You know, this is a fight that I thought it was a no-brainer. I didn't think this fight was going any other way unless Charles Oliveira got the win, whether it was knockout, submission, decision. And Arman won. He fucking hit nasty ass fucking elbows on Charles Oliveira, busted him open.
The second round, just demolished him.
Dude, yeah, his fucking bleached hair was all red.
Oh yeah,
it looked
that
like.
was fun.
Did you? And honestly, I don't know if you noticed this, but when his since he was all sweaty and there was like hella blood, it pushed his hair back.
Yeah,
dude, you saw like it's like I don't want to say like fucked up hairline, but Oliveira, dude, his shit was like fucking like I've never seen Oliveira like that, which shows you that he was fucking losing. Yeah, but like, what's your main take on that fight?
It was brutal, honestly, especially round 2. I honestly thought his cauliflower ear exploded because like he was that bloody. I was really worried about him. I think he could have gotten the submission final round. He just didn't finish the Darce. He had it halfway. I saw that he was trying to scoot his legs and hook his legs like you're supposed to do to complete a Darce. But he gave up on that because he just kept moving away. And I think he knew that the time was about to run out. And he was just trying to squeeze the finish. And, you know, you don't finish a Darce that way. You need to hook the legs, push your abdomen and legs into them while squeezing, right? And I think just because of that, he lost. Cause you could argue round 1. I think round 1, a little bit iffy. Round 2, complete demolition.
Yeah, no, but I mean that one guillotine that he got in on Arman, that shit looked like it was tight. Like honestly, like that shit was tight, and Arman was still able to get out of it. Like it's rare to get out of a Charles Oliveira submission, especially a guillotine, and he was able to do it and then go on and win the fight. That was crazy shit. You know, respect to Arman. His name is definitely out there now. Without a doubt. And Charles, you know, I feel like I don't want to say this is, you know, I usually with a dominance like that, I would say, you know, time to hang him up. You know, Charles is, you know, he's done a lot in the UFC. He's considered one of the GOATs. Like, come on. Like, I honestly don't think Charles is done. He's not done. He's going to come back soon. When I say soon, I'm not saying like the next couple cards. No, it's going to be a minute, but it's not going to be as long as other fighters take, like Conor McGregor, who we'll talk about later. It's not going to be as long as Conor McGregor from one fight to another. I feel like we'll see Charles either before the end of the year or early next year. But, you know, I really wish that Charles would have got the dub in that. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. But no disrespect to Charles. He's still fucking... I honestly think he kind of dominated that first round with that fucking guillotine. Yeah. That guillotine's probably what did it. And it was a split decision too, no?
Yeah, it was
split decision. Yeah. And then he had that you know, my mind is completely blanking right now. What was that?
Darce.
Yeah.
The Darce joke. Yeah.
Yep. And towards the end, and if he would have kept that on, let's just say the round was, I want to say. If the round that you see, that's why that fight should have been 5 rounds. Joe Rogan was talking about it on the fucking commentary last night. The fight should have been 5 rounds because Charles Oliveira is someone that really needs 5 rounds to fucking, you know, work his magic and shit. But Arman was just hitting him with nasty shots that I think was preventing it from, even if it was a 5-round fight, I don't even think it would make it to the 5th round because of all these shots that were being thrown by Arman and busting him open. And, you know, it was a crazy fight. Congrats to Arman, but really really wish Oliveira got the win.
Who do you see next for Oliveira?
Ooh. You know, I would, because wasn't this supposed to be number 1 contender for the title? Or am I tripping? Because I could have sworn.
I think so. Oliveira's number 1, and then he was number 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's for lightweight. He could fight Gaethje, I think.
You know, because I was going to say if he went against, because Makhachev already has another confirmed fight, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And I have mixed reactions about that one. You know, I'm semi-happy about it, but I have mixed reactions. Because I feel like it should be somebody else, who we'll also talk about later. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that would be a good little comeback fight to see Gaethje after what happened in UFC 300 to Gaethje. And then after what happened with Oliveira. You know, seeing Gaethje and Oliveira fight, that would probably be the best comeback fight for both of them. Because they're both going up against top-level people in themselves, Gaethje and Oliveira. So I could see that, and then possibly the winner goes up against probably, if he doesn't already have the title shot by the time, probably against Holloway, maybe. If Holloway wants to stick around a lightweight, which I think he will, because... Is that next? Is that what we're talking about?
Next.
Yeah, so I think we just go straight into that because, oh my God. Fight of the year, knockout of the year, possibly, actually no, not in my opinion, one of the best knockouts I've ever seen in the UFC. That shit was fucking amazing. Oh my gosh, right? Like, I want to hear your take first because I'm still on high about that fight.
I'm a Holloway fan, right? Mm-hmm. I was doubting him. I didn't think him going up in weight. I did not think that was good. You know, he's a really skinny guy. Mm-hmm. You know, he's not that strong, but like his combos, his accuracy, right? The way he just moves in, moves out. It was just picture perfect yesterday, I think. I think like the entire fight he was having the edge. I think it was like 4-1 or something like that, if it went decision. But the final round where he pointed down, you know, he does a little iconic thing, pointing down the center of the ring, and they started brawling.
He literally went, caught him with the, dude, this was so good.
Last second, I think, bro.
There was 1 second left in the final round. Oh my God, dude. You know, Holloway fucking proved something last night that goes to show not to Gaethje, but this is mostly to the fans, don't underestimate the opponent. Because there are some times that, like, when you're hopping in there or something, like, for example, if you want to say, like, yourself, we were talking about yourself, when you're going in there and you're about to spar, you're about to fight or something like that, don't underestimate the other guy, because just because people are telling you, oh, you got that, you're on the show, you got that. Sometimes that's not the case, and then you get surprised, like what happened last night. I can almost say out of all the fights, I feel like out of every fight, Holloway was probably the biggest underdog going into any of the fights last night. And then he did what he did last night. Gaethje fucking dropped him. Gaethje did drop Holloway, and I want to say, wasn't it the third?
I thought he slipped. I'm trying to remember.
No, he got fucking dropped. He got dropped. I think Gaethje may have caught him a little on the back of the head, though, because he threw him over, and he hit him, like, I want to say it was, like, around right here. Yeah. And, it dropped Holloway. And Gaethje tried rushing Holloway a little bit, but Holloway was able to slip out of it, and then I think he was able to recoup and then get back into the fight. But I want to say that happened third round. I want to say that happened third round. But that one fucking spinning back kick.
Oh, yeah, he hit him like 3 times.
That first one busted his fucking nose open. That was end of round 1.
Yeah.
So, at the end of round 1, when that busted open fucking Gaethje's nose, I think that's what did it to Gaethje for the rest of the fight, because when you fight with your nose busted like that, if it keeps on getting hit, that's just going to fuck you over. And then also another thing, too, I'm a Gaethje fan. I'm a Gaethje fan. I have him in my top 3 UFC fighters right now, so I wanted Gaethje to win. But at the same time, I also love Max Holloway. I want to say he's in probably my top 10, but I like Gaethje more. And I wanted Gaethje to get the dub. I liked Gaethje's style of fighting. I thought his fucking kicks, like that one head kick he got on Dustin Poirier where he fucking knocked the fuck out of him. You know, I wanted to see him do that to Holloway, but Holloway just kept fucking outstriking him. And then another thing, too, is he was fucking eye-poking him.
Oh, dude, I find that really funny because the UFC got new gloves, right?
To prevent that.
And it happened, like one of the biggest fight of the card, right? I would say, like, or at least most entertaining.
Oh yeah,
best, right? There's 2 eye pokes, right? I think both eyes got poked.
Yep, I want to say the right eye got hit with the fucking middle finger,
and then he was trying to
the other one hit the thumb.
Yeah, I know. I remember one of them. He was trying to frame, Gaethje, and then he accidentally got the eye poke while trying to frame. And then I'm trying to remember where the other one was from. I think just from a strike, right? He just wanted to push it out.
No, I think he was. Yeah, I think he was trying to like
the framing.
I think he was framing too, and then when he did that, fucking
for
thumb
both?
caught him too. Yep, for both.
Oh, okay.
I think it was for both because for one, I remember seeing Holloway doing.
Yeah.
No, he was,
I remember for one of them, he framed, he got the punch, but then with the other hand, he poked the eye.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, dude, knockout of the fucking year, bro. That he literally fucking pulled him. He was like, "Here, I want you here, and I'm gonna fucking knock you out right here." Fell perfectly centered on the monster logo in the center of the octagon. From that knockout, that shit was fucking beautiful. And Holloway, in my opinion, should be next for Islam Makhachev. I believe that he should be next for Islam Makhachev.
In his first lightweight fight, I think. I know he had one before this, but it's not congruent or it happened right after, not consecutive.
Yeah, this is his. I'm counting this as his first dominant fight in like lightweight because you gotta think about it. You went from featherweight, you just beat the Korean Zombie, and then you're coming back, and then you're gonna go up against BMF champion Justin Gaethje. And then you're going to do that to Justin Gaethje, arguably one of the best fighters in the world right now, and knock him out with 1 second to spare in the round in dominating fashion like that. Title shot.
He earned the BMF title at least.
Yeah, he 100%. Earned the BMF title. The name suits Max Holloway. Yeah, dude. It suits him perfectly. But I personally feel like it should be Max Holloway and Islam Makhachev. But if he doesn't decide to stick around a lightweight and he goes back to featherweight, give him Ilia Topuria. And that's a fight that I want to see.
It's going to be an amazing fight. You know, I think anyone Ilia Topuria is going to fight is going to be amazing. Right now, I know talks of after Merab, if Sean O'Malley wins, he wants to fight Topuria. That would be a good one. I'm interested in seeing a Volk's rematch for Topuria because I know the knockout Volk received. I think it was like 3 months before fighting him. I want to see like Volk at his peak, right? Like full fight camp, right? Not recovering from a brutal knockout, going against Topuria. I think that would be a great rematch, or Holloway. That's another great option.
And I feel like Topuria, in my opinion, if Topuria and Volk go up against each other again, you know, Volk's the GOAT. Volk is the featherweight GOAT, no doubt about it. But I feel like if he were to come back, I don't know what it is. Some feeling in me thinks that Topuria would still probably get the win over him. And I don't necessarily want to say a knockout, but if Volk goes through, like you're just saying, if he goes through like a full training camp, I could see it going the distance, going to a unanimous split decision, something like that. But definitely I could see Topuria retaining that. But what I am excited for is, like you just said, if Sean and Merab happen, if Sean can beat Merab, Sean versus Topuria is a fight that would make so much money for the UFC, and that's such a good fight because they're both so high-class strikers and kickboxers. Topuria also has a little bit of wrestling too, so to mix that in with Sean O'Malley, that'd be a good fucking fight. That'd be a fight of the year candidate if they could pull off a better fight than fucking Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje. But yep, congrats to Max with that good ass win over fucking Gaethje. I hope we see Gaethje soon, probably against Oliveira. But then we had the co-main. It was Weili Zhang and Yan, dude. You know, a part of me thought Yan was going to win at least 3 times in this fight. But I stuck with Zhang the whole way throughout the whole fight. And, you know, it could have gone either way for me. But, like, throughout the fight, before the fight even started, I knew for a fact, I was like, Zhang's going to fucking dominate this whole fight. Because Weili Zhang's one of the best women's fighters in the world right now. So when you're putting her with Yan, it's like, You know, I don't want to say it's a mixed match, but I heard Joe Rogan say that it was this the first time that wasn't it like two female Chinese fighters for the first time in the octagon together. Yeah. Not only is there a championship on the line, but you also have that at stake too. So no matter what, both women are fucking getting some sort of, I don't want to say reward, but recognition. They're both getting some sort of recognition for this fight because of that added on too. But when you put that title on there, it just changes everything, and plus the bonuses. But we all know who that fucking went to. Yeah. Fucking Holloway walking out fucking money freak by the end of the night. But yeah, what do you think about?
Okay, I will say I'm not the biggest fan of women's MMA, right? You know, I was joking with him saying hashtag piss break.
Hashtag piss break.
You know, as soon as that started, I wanted to go take a piss, as I do for most women fights, right? But it was, I think, all around great fight. End of round one. I think Yan was caught in a rear naked choke. Mm-hmm, yep. She held that
she was fucking
for like
out.
20 seconds. God. She held it, like coming in and out of consciousness, just holding and surviving.
She was fucking
It was brutal. It was brutal. I think Yan, for I think a big section of the fight, was outstriking Zhang, right? But I think the only round where she like definitively won was round 3. I think round 3 was phenomenal for her. I think she almost got the knockout. Right, I think she made her stumble. I'm trying to remember, a little bit hazy, right? But after that, I think her steam went back down, and then Jiang secured the victory. Which, you know, I think, you know, that's kind of what we all expected to happen, right?
But no, that fucking rear naked choke that she had, the minute the round was over and she let go of it, Yan was fucking out. Like, you could go back and watch that shit over and over and over, and no matter which way you watch it, Yan was unconscious, and she was fucking still coming out of it in the corner, you know, hella loopy and shit. And Joe Rogan on commentary got hella pissed. Well, not pissed, but like he was calling it out, because Yan's coach gave her smelling salts. And those smelling salts must have did something, because that very next round, she was coming out fucking swinging on Zhang. Was kind of, I think I gave Yan the second round.
You gave her second?
Yeah, I gave her second.
I'm trying to remember, because I
gave Zhang first. I gave Yan second.
Yan got third.
Yan got third as well.
Third was the one she dominated in.
Yeah. I want to say I gave Zhang fourth and fifth. So yeah, I definitely gave, because I want to say fourth and fifth. There was a lot of fucking ground and pound by Zhang. Like, when she was on top of the back of Yan, she was just fucking pounding her with shots. Those is what I think did majority of the damage to round 4 and round 5 for Zhang. But yeah, Zhang got the fucking good fucking win, especially when Yan fucking turned into Superman in round fucking 3. Yeah. Started dominating and shit. I gave her round 2 as well, but, you know, Zhang was still able to, like, move around and shit in round 2 and actually, like, land some shots. But overall, round 3 is where she, like, mostly dominated the fight.
I will say, when you're just in guard and the other person's standing and you're just sitting there, that is just like such a bitch thing to do. All right, you're just sitting there waiting for nothing. I think the referee stood them up, right?
What do you mean?
Because Jiang, she was just on the ground.
Oh yeah. So when Zhang wouldn't get up, Yan was up. She kept hitting fucking.
She just kept her legs.
Yeah, she just kept fucking. They were having a little leg kicking matchup while fucking Zhang was down on the floor. Yan was trying to get her up, and Zhang was taking all the damage because she's kicking her in the thigh, while Yan's only getting hit with like little heel kicks to the front for her fucking leg, and you know, from one way or another, if you're just gonna sit there and stand and fucking just fucking kick, not let them get up, come on. Now you're just dragging out the time. You know you're tired. You know you're hurt. Like, just fucking get the fight over with. And I think that's why the ref finally fucking got them to stand up and fucking get the fight going. Because they were spending way too much time doing that shit. Like, it was cool for the first, 10 seconds until it started. After that, it just kept going and going and going.
And like half a minute.
Right? It was damn near a minute, too. Yeah. It was damn near a minute for fucking them just kicking each other. Yeah, but Zhang got the win. Congrats to Zhang. Yan put up a pretty good fight in round 2 and 3, but overall, Zhang got the win on that.
Okay, and then
main event.
Okay.
Main event.
What can we even say about that one?
Well, yeah, I'll let you go first because I'm.
Okay.
Woo.
I'm a big Podon fan, right?
Same here, Poton.
I was expecting a war, right? I was excited. I thought it was gonna be. I thought it had the chance to beat Holloway. Like I was really hyped for this fight, right? It starts. They're just in neutral, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just trying to fill the void. Yep. You know, you see testing things out.
Couple wild shots thrown by Hill.
Yeah, a couple of shots. You know, a lot of leg kicks. You know, just testing the water. And then I think Hill kicks Pereira in the crotch, right? He gets a crotch. Yeah, Herb Dean comes in. He's like, all right, I'm gonna pause it. Check up. Poton grabs his hand, squeezes it, and then Herb backs off. And they touch hands, and then they continue going at it. He immediately gets hit by a left hook, and then knocks down, gets on top, ground and pounds. It's over.
That was, woo! When I saw that, yep. I didn't know because it happened so quick. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if it was an uppercut
or left hook
or a hook because he kind of curved it when he was throwing up. Like angled, he hit it like this. So either way, it's a fucking good ass fucking knockout. No matter what he threw, Hill, was talking lots of shit.
A lot of shit.
A lot of shit coming into the fight. Yep. He did some after party shit. He's like, he's like, come to the after party after I beat Pereira and shit.
He still had the party after.
Oh, I know.
I saw his little thing. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck
he had a knockout party. He had a knockout party. That's crazy to me. Because I was expecting Pereira and Hill to go at least 4, maybe close to the 5th round.
3 rounds personally.
Yeah, because Pereira's able to sorry, I'm losing my words right now. Yeah. Pereira's able to keep up with his stamina. He's not one to gas out easily. We've seen it with the fights with Adesanya in the past. And, I feel like him and Hill, because Hill has such a wild style and he has power. Like, dude's got fucking strength. So when you mix that two together, you expect a war that could probably, like you said, match up with Holloway and Gaethje. Nope.
No.
Not even close. A fucking first round knockout. Absolutely fucking dominated by Pereira. Yeah. And Pereira said in his post-fight interview, this is exactly what I was thinking. The minute he knocked out Jamal Hill, he wants a fight in heavyweight.
Oh, yeah.
The minute he won that fight, that's the first thought that came in my mind was, well, we'll see him at heavyweight. Now, here's the thing. My personal opinion, I think Pereira should have at least 1 or 2 more fights in light heavyweight. Jiri said when he won in the prelims, he said that he wanted the winner of Pereira and Hill. And you could argue that Jiri should get the next title shot. But I feel like it's not going to be much different than when he last faced Pereira for the vacant belt. I feel like Pereira's still going to knock him out.
Okay, there's a lot of people who say that was an early stoppage. I disagree. I don't think so.
It was a perfect time.
Because you see Pereira, right? I think he's coming in. He knocks him down. Jiri falls down, and he resorts to going for the legs, right? Mm. But you see his arms go limp, right? He gets knocked out. He just comes back and then goes for legs. Mm. And then while trying to finish it, Pereira knocks him backwards, and that's when he gets stopped. Like, he wasn't out when they stopped the bout, but he was about to be, right? Mm. I think from the ref's perspective, you see a fighter, right, taking a shot, trying to do a takedown, fall backwards, right, fall on their ass. You think they're out. Because there's no other reason to do that, unless you do like the stupidest takedown of all time, where you're putting yourself on mount, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think that Pereira versus Jiri would be the next thing, because I just don't see it going any differently. I don't know if there's gonna be much hype. Like, I know both fighters are real well liked, but after the first one, no, I'm not sure. I think Jiri needs a couple more wins before going after Pereira, because I think this was his. He's only had 1 fight since then, and it was this one, right? Mm. He needs a couple more wins before going for title again.
Yeah, he was just injured. So, that's why I saw a lot of people, and myself included, thought that it was kind of a mixed match between Jiri and Rakic, because they were both just injured. Yeah. So, it really could have gone either way, and Jiri got the dub. So, I feel like I agree with that. He should have a couple more fights, but the UFC being the UFC, they're probably just going to end up doing it anyways. Yeah. And Pereira's just going to do what he does and just fucking knock him out and get the win. But if Pereira does go to heavyweight, Pereira and Tom Aspinall would be a fucking fight that I would want to see. And personally, I want to see how Pereira moves and how he's like how quick he is, and if he has enough timing. I want to see if he could actually beat Tom Aspinall.
Even though I think Pereira is my favorite current fighter, I would give that to Aspinall because I think Aspinall cuts down to heavyweight. Yeah, he's above 260, right?
Yeah.
And then Pereira, after rehydration, right? Because the fighters had 24 hours to rehydrate after cuts. He only weighed in at 230, right? That's, it's going to be a 50-pound difference. Unless he pulls on some serious, muscle or maybe just fat. I want to say that Pereira has the power, right? I want to say that he'll get a left hook. He'll knock Tom Aspinall out. I don't see that happening. I really don't.
I wish.
I as much as I want it to happen, and that's not even factoring that Aspinall is great grappling, right? Because his dad was, I think, the first jiu-jitsu black belt in the UK or something like that. Aspinall, I just don't see it happening for Pereira, and
I'm just curious to see how Pereira looks and how he moves in the heavyweight division. I don't necessarily think that he'll beat Tom Aspinall, but if he did, that would be fucking crazy to hold 3 different belts in 3 different weight divisions. Not at the same time, but just being someone to be able to say, yep, I was heavyweight champ, I was light heavyweight champ, I was middleweight champ. Saying that you could hold all 3 of those belts is fucking crazy, and if he does that, Alex Pereira is certified GOAT. Yeah. At least one of them, in my opinion.
Has anyone else done that? Anyone been a triple champ? I know we have 9 double champs.
We've had 9 double champs.
I don't know if we have a triple champ.
I don't think we've had. If Pereira was the first triple champ, that would be crazy.
Yeah. Well, it would depend because he wouldn't be counted as champ if he beat Aspinall because John and
it's interim.
Yeah, interim isn't full, right?
I feel like John and Stipe shouldn't even fucking
I know.
happen.
Okay. John
They're both old.
should fight Aspinall.
Yes.
That's the point of the interim championship.
It's your next in line.
The next in line, when they come back, you're going to fight the champion, right? You saw this with Poirier and Khabib, right?
Yeah.
People don't count Poirier as a champion because you're only interim, right?
Yeah.
So you can't call it Aspinall, sadly. But 100% it should be John and Tom. I think John Jones is ducking Tom Aspinall right now.
I think he is too.
I think that he's fighting Stipe because Stipe is also old as hell.
And he knows that's a win. An easy win for him. In my opinion, I genuinely think Tom Aspinall would beat John Jones.
I honestly think so. I think John Jones is going to retire after his fight.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to smoke with Tom Aspinall. I don't think he wants to tarnish his record.
Nope.
As far as I'm aware, his only loss is by disqualification.
From that 12-6 elbow.
Yeah.
Yep.
He doesn't want to get a loss on his belt. I don't think he's fighting Aspinall.
I don't believe he's going to fight Aspinall either, but if he did, I think Aspinall gets the win.
Yeah.
And if Dana White just said, hey, you know what, John? Fuck the Stipe fight. Mm-hmm. This is how I would do it. I feel like it should be Jones and Aspinall for the belt. I see Aspinall winning the belt there. Mm-hmm. You could have Aspinall win. And while Pereira's over here doing a couple more fights in light heavyweight, you know what? If you want to do it so badly, then you can mix match the two. You could either do Jones and Aspinall, and then the winner of that faces Stipe for the belt.
Yeah.
Or you could do Jones and Stipe first for the actual belt, and then the winner, who will probably be Jones, goes and fights Aspinall. But the thing is that I feel like if Jones fights Stipe first, like you said, he's probably going to end up just hanging him up anyways, which is why I feel like it should be Jones and Aspinall. Mm-hmm. Jones will probably lose. Aspinall wins the belt, and then by the time all that's culminated, Pereira will have enough fights in light heavyweight, have him move up if he really wants to go to heavyweight. Then we have Pereira versus Aspinall for the heavyweight belt, and that's another fight that would make a lot of money for the UFC. I see Aspinall still winning that fight, but I feel like it will be pretty interesting to see how Pereira comes up in the weight, how he moves, how quick he is, how much power he has. It's going to be a good fight. Now, what happened after the fight. It was at the fight presser, but before that, I want to say, UFC 300, best fight card of the year. I was not expecting it to be as good as it was. I thought that it was going to not be as better as UFC 299, and it was better than UFC 299, miles better than UFC 299. I wouldn't even think that would be the case, but it was. I'm excited for 301 in Brazil. Excited to see how Jose Aldo fights after all this time away. I want to see how Alexandre Pantoja wins. I don't think he's going to win, honestly. I don't really want him to win. No. But I don't think he's going to win. And then UFC 302 also got announced, the co-main event and the main event. And the co-main event was Sean Strickland and Paulo Costa. Yep. And that is an interesting fight. Paulo Costa is he does like some trying to think what he does. He's a fan favorite for this, I know. He's
more of a brawler, right?
Yeah, more of a brawler. Like he fucking that's why I think him and Strickland's about to be a pretty good fight, because they really, it's not much a style, it's just much a power and just fucking swinging for the fences, which is why this is going to be a good fight. Paulo Costa last fought Whitaker, I'm pretty sure, right? It was Whitaker. I think so, yeah. And Whitaker ended up getting the win. So then we have Whitaker and Khamzat down the line too in the fight night. I don't really know what the date for that one is, but yeah, so I predict in that one, my official prediction, I think Strickland gets the win over Costa.
I would agree.
Yeah. Strickland. And I think that could possibly go to, I don't want to say a decision.
I would say decision for Strickland. Like
maybe a split, depending if it depends on how Paulo is in his camp, because he looked pretty good against Whitaker. Mm-hmm. But if he's a little better than how he was with Whitaker last time, I could see it going to a split. But yeah, I think you're right. We're probably gonna have to say decision for Strickland.
Strickland, he's not really a knockout guy, right? The last knockout he had, I'm trying to remember, because you couldn't even finish off Izzy, right? In the round one,
he dropped him.
He dropped him. That was about it. He cracked him really hard on round one, right? Could have finished it there. I just don't think he's like all that powerful. I don't think he's shown to be able to finish people off. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember. I know his first ever fight was by submission win in the UFC. I cannot think off memory a knockout victory by Strickland.
Mm-hmm. And then the main event of UFC 302 got revealed too, and that one is I'm kind of mixed on it, but it's Islam Makhachev versus the Diamond Dustin Poirier for the lightweight belt. I personally think it should be Holloway. I think of Holloway unless he's going back to featherweight, but I personally think that if he is staying in lightweight, it should be Holloway and Makhachev. But I feel like they think it's too close in between fights. Maybe, I don't know, but Makhachev is gonna win.
100%.
Makhachev is gonna win. Some could hope for Dustin Poirier, but
I'm hoping.
Some could hope. A part of me is hoping that he could possibly pull out the win, but
trying to get the grade team.
Yeah, but I don't see any other way but Islam Makhachev walking out as the champ, and I feel like he's just gonna be a dominating in wrestling. That one, his last fight was against Volk, and he knocked him out, and that was with striking too. Yeah. He got him up against the cage, kept pinning him. I feel like that if Islam wins with Poirier, I say it happens the same way it probably happened with Volk. And I don't think it happens as early, but I think we see it in round 3 or 4 after a lot of wrestling. Yeah. Poirier's probably going to get tired out, and then I say that Makhachev comes with another shot like how he did the Volk in the second fight.
I would agree. Poirier, he's one of my favorite fighters. For me, he's maybe, I think I'd put him top 5 current like active fighters, top 10 like of all time, right? I do not see him winning this. I really wish I could see him winning this, right? Because I like him a lot more than any Dagestanian. I'm just trying to think. I feel like he's gonna be like a total dumbass and jump guillotine again. He just thinks that's funny or something, and he just keeps on doing that. I think Makhachev just completely outskills him in everything. I think Makhachev probably better striker. he's 100% better grappler.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Not even a debate.
Even
If somebody ever fucking said Dustin Poirier is a better grappler than Islam Makhachev,
no.
Casual.
Yeah.
Casual. And then not even if there's a tier below casual, that goes to whoever
like
would ever say a fucking newbie. Like you just fucking watched UFC 300 because it was on in the background.
$299, I think. You just saw $299, saw Poirier.
Yeah, no, but UFC 303 though. Finally, holy fucking shit! After being gone for so long, the Mac is back. Notorious Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, International Fight Week, UFC 302 on June 303, UFC 303 on June 29th. I really, really want Conor McGregor to win, but Michael Chandler is gonna win.
No, it's the same. I think it's gonna be very interesting seeing Conor fight at 170s, right? Because I think his entire career he's been fighting 140s,
like lightweight,
like
lightweight, featherweight.
Yeah, he's been fighting that. I'm interested to see if his style doesn't change whatsoever, right? Or how he's gonna move. Because I remember the big thing about him was like he had like a movement coach, like some random guy he found in a park, right? And he was swimming a movement coach. I'm curious how all that added muscle mass is gonna affect his style.
Yeah, because he bulked up a lot for Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Because by the way, Roadhouse,
it was okay.
It was okay. You know, not the action scenes. It was a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
It looked like when they threw the punch, like it got to like right here, and then they just edited it to like actually fucking hit him. Yeah, so a lot of the fight scenes look fake in that, but you know that's fucking movies. Fuck that shit. We're talking about fighting. We talk about fighting here. Yeah. So I really want Conor to win. I also am curious to see how all that muscle mass is gonna play because 170 is high weight for Conor McGregor. Because Conor McGregor's his last fight was in lightweight with Dustin Poirier, and that was in 2021. That was 3 years ago, and now we're here in 2024, and he's about to fight at 170 against Michael Chandler. And you know what? I feel like this does a lot of pay-per-view buys.
Yeah.
This is going to make tons of money for the UFC. And then I believe that if Conor loses, he's done. To me, I 100% agree because he says that I saw something that said that he wants to fight 4 times this year and then 6 times next year.
Yeah,
he's not even going to make it close to that. Conor McGregor, if he loses against Michael Chandler, I predict that he retires. I predict that he's done. He hangs up the gloves. He gives he basically his last hurrah in the UFC against Michael Chandler. Because after that, that's 3 consecutive losses. He lost to Poirier twice, and then he loses to Chandler. I think he's done. He's going to go live his life. He doesn't have to fight another day in his life if he doesn't want to. He's got that much money to where he doesn't even have to worry about that. But if it comes down to it, I don't think he sticks around if he loses. But if he wins, I say that we see McGregor a couple more times in the UFC, whether it's against... Because he said that there's a couple names... He gave the thought of him versus Topuria... Like
he's not going back down there.
He is not going to go back down to featherweight. Yeah. If he did, that would be a surprising fucking weight cut from going to 170 all the way down to fucking 140-ish. That would be a crazy fucking insane weight cut. But I don't see him doing that. I don't see him fighting Sean either because I saw people fucking not hyping up the idea of Sean versus fucking...
O'Malley or Strickland?
Strickland.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I see people hyping up the idea of Strickland versus McGregor. I don't really see that one. I don't see O'Malley either, because that's also another weight cut that I don't see Conor doing. You know, it's going to be fucking interesting to see who Conor would go after Chandler. But I don't know. You see, there's only a couple of names I can really think of, or I could see Conor doing something really fucking stupid. I could see Conor going and do fucking boxing again.
Oh, no, 100%. I could see him going on Prime.
Yep.
Going the Prime cards.
Yep. I could almost predict that.
Him and Logan or him and Jake? Which one?
You know, I don't want to say Logan because I think Logan's never going to box again because Logan's doing his thing in WWE.
Yeah.
I don't think Logan's going to. If anything, I think it's Jake.
You think Jake Paul?
And I think... Honestly, it's a hard fight to predict due to the fact of how I haven't seen McGregor fight.
In 3 years.
Yeah, and ever since Poirier. And I didn't even get to see much of that because his fucking leg snapped. But I do want to say that if he comes back and he beats Michael Chandler in dominating fashion, I think McGregor could beat Jake Paul when it comes into boxing. But if he loses to Chandler and he doesn't look that good, basically my whole answer about what would happen in a possible fight between Conor McGregor and the fucking bitch ass retard Jake Paul.
Yeah.
The only way I could properly predict that is when I see Conor McGregor and Michael Chandler. But as of right now, I could probably see Jake Paul winning, handing him... Because no money is going to fucking make Conor McGregor dive for Jake Paul. Maybe Mike Tyson, but not Conor McGregor. And I think that's a fight that we would actually see if Jake Paul could knock someone out with that caliber of fucking fame in Conor McGregor. Because Conor McGregor doesn't need money. Floyd Mayweather doesn't need money, so if Jake Paul fought him too, wouldn't work.
Yeah.
I feel like if Jake Paul is rigging his fights, he's picking people that a lot of money could fucking basically just say, hey, here, just take a little dive. We'll give you this much money.
You do think he's going to take a dive? Mike Tyson's taking a dive?
I think he's going to.
You think he's taking a dive?
I think he's taking a lot of fucking money to
think
take a dive.
Money. I don't think he's taking a dive, though. I think he's going to try his hardest, right? I think he's going to try putting on a war for us. I don't want to say Mike Tyson's going to lose to bitch-ass Jake Paul, right?
He's probably going to.
But he's, 60?
He'll be 60 by the time he fights Jake Paul.
Like my grandparents' age,
Yep.
Like, he's Mike Tyson, but, like, no one beats time.
Like,
right?
look, it could not be rigged either. We could see a decent fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson, but real shit, I think Mike Tyson either takes a dive or he doesn't go all out against Jake Paul because of something due in the contracts to where he gets a bunch of money. But, yeah, UFC 300, pretty solid fucking card. Lots of good fights overall. Very excited for 301, 302, and 303. UFC is cooking up with these fight cards right after UFC 300, and I hope it stays that way. Excited for 304 whenever that's announced, because I'm excited for these fucking fight cards for sure. But yeah, that was a pretty good episode of today's Combat. Thanks, Tristan, for coming on. I've been trying to get this guy on the podcast for a good minute now. I just wanted to find a good thing that it would, a good subject to bring you on UFC 300. 300, the best topic. Yeah, but no, we also need to get you on another episode too to talk about your wrestling and shit.
My wrestling.
Yeah, your wrestling and your MMA, and I'm curious about all that shit. So yeah, we'll definitely have Tristan back on another episode to talk about that. Next weekend we are here possibly with Joaquin Miranda, my amateur boxing buddy. Yeah. We're gonna talk to him about the review of Devin Haney versus Ryan Garcia, which happens next Saturday. That episode, that episode will be out next Sunday. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Tristan, once again, and deuces.